Hi there, welcome to Mastery Hive. In this video, I will be showing you how to work with data in a relational database management system, how to manipulate data in a relational database management system, how to carry out actions like aggregation, sorting, filtering, goal grouping, getting data from multiple tables, and all that using a kind of programming language. Welcome to SQL. What exactly is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Queried Language, which is a domain specific language used in programming and designed for managing data held in an RDBMS. RDBMS being a relational database management system. Basically, a relational database management system is used in managing data in relational databases or for streaming processing in relational data stream management system. It is particularly useful in handling structured data, that is data incorporated relations among entities and variables. What exactly are structured data? Structured data are data that are represented in a tabular form, which have a couple of columns and a couple of rows. You can use SQL to perform actions like extract, transform, and load. SQL can also be used for actions like calculations, grouping, aggregations, filtering, and sorting. Now let's see what the syntax of this language looks like. Now, just like you have your English words mapped into various words that form a sentence, that is how SQL actually works. One part of the SQL syntax is known as a clause. Clauses are basically constituent components of statements and queries, and they can also be optional. Then you have an expression. An expression can either produce scalar values or tables consisting of columns and of rows of data. Predicates. Predicates basically specify conditions that can be evaluated in an SQL3 logic value, either true, false, and unknown, or basically what you all know as a Boolean truth values, and is used to limit the effect of statements and queries or to change the program flow. Queries. Now, queries basically just retrieve the data based on specific criteria, and this is one of the important element of SQL. Now, putting all this together, you have an SQL statement. Now, let's look at a very simple example of an SQL statement. Now, here I have an update clause or an update statement that updates a certain column with a certain name. Now, in this SQL query, the blue are highlighted as clauses, the red are highlighted as expressions, and the green is highlighted as a predicate. Everything then now makes up an SQL statement. Now, there are various objects that exist in the SQL objects. You have a table which consists of columns and rows, and basically tables are database object that contains all the data in a database. Basically, in a table, data is logically organized in a row and column format, similar to a spreadsheet. You have a database. A database is made up of collections of tables that stores a specific set of structured data. A table, like I said, contains a collection of rows, also referred to as records or tuples, and columns, also referred to as attributes. Also, in the database, you can have various other objects apart from tables. You could also have a schema. A schema is basically a collection of database objects, including tables, views, triggers, stored procedures, indexes, and so on and so forth. Basically, a schema is associated with a username, which is also known as the schema owner. Now, there are various SQL statements divided into four categories. Now, the first one is the data manipulation language. Basically, the definition of the data manipulation language is in its title, used to manipulate data in the relational database management system. Under this category, you have various clauses that does various action. The first is select. Select basically are used to select columns from a table. Insert. Insert basically is used to put in a fresh record into a table. Delete. Delete is used to, delete data from a table. And update. Update basically is used to update previously existing data in a table. The next set of SQL statements are the data definition language. And clauses under the data definition language are create, basically used to create a database, create a table, create a schema, create anything that has to do with an object. Alter. Alter basically is used to change the structure of an object. So you can alter a database, you can alter a table, you can alter a column name, and so on and so forth. Rename. Now, most times when you use alter, it either you are altering to rename or you're altering to add. Now, when you're altering to rename, basically it means that you are altering to either rename a table name, a column name, a database name, and so on. Then you have drop. Drop basically is used to completely remove an object from a relational database management system. So what that means is I could drop a table, I could drop a database, I could drop a schema, and I could drop any other object in my relational database management system. Now, there is a thin similarity between drop and delete. Now, when you delete something from a relational database management system, what that means is that deletion only happens at the row level. Now, let's say, for example, I want to remove my information from a particular table. At that point, I would initiate a delete. So, delete only takes place at the row level. On the other hand, if I wanted to entirely take off the table or take off a database from my relational database management system, in that case, I would want to drop. So drop only takes effect at the object level, meaning I can either drop a table, I could drop a database, I could drop a schema, but I cannot delete a table. I could only delete rows in that table. The next category is the data control language. And they are of two types, the grant and the revoke. Grant basically just gives you privileges to carry out either of the data manipulation language, like your select, your insert, your update, and your delete, or the data manipulation language, the data definition language, like the create, the alter, and all that. So most times you can be granted only the select privilege or a combination of other clauses. Now, the same way I could grant you a right is the same way I can revoke that right from you. And finally, we have the transaction control. The transaction control are your commits, your save points, and your rollback. In the next video, I will be showing you how to carry out an SQL installation. For this video, we will be using the Microsoft SQL Server. Next video, I will show you how to fully install the Microsoft SQL Server on your local machine and also help you with the installation of the necessary databases and tables and every other object we'll be using in this course. See you in the next course.